Ty Bartel, Anthony Hartwig, and with another edition of Coach's Corner. This time we head over to Lakeview with the head coach of the boys team, Mr. Matt Baker, joining us today. Coach, how we doing?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Oh, we're not doing too bad. We're getting excited for hoops season just around the corner, as I'm sure you are as well. In the middle of practices, obviously you're sorting from what you got from what you don't right now. What are things looking like in practice for you and your squad?
Yeah, it's been an exciting start to the season. Obviously, it's my first year as a varsity head coach, so it's new to me as well. But guys are competing, guys are having fun in the gym. We have had a couple injuries here to start the season. Nothing major, but just guys that are out of practice right now. So right now, some young guys that usually don't get the reps have been getting the reps right now. So that's always good to see. But we're excited. We got 2 scrimmages in also. So we're just excited for where we're at right now.
Coach, we see these Lakeview programs that were before you, like the baseball and the football teams in the 2 seasons prior to this basketball season, all have a lot of positivity and that they hadn't had before. Baseball had a really great season, of course. Football had one of the best seasons they've had in a long time. What do you see from your guys carrying that momentum from other sports into basketball?
Yeah, that's huge. The baseball team with Coach Carson, they've had great success the past couple seasons, and then Coach Bush obviously this year with the football team. And like you said, we just got to carry that momentum. There's a lot of guys that played baseball, that played football, that are on the basketball team. So that's good that they've had that success because obviously last year's basketball season didn't go as we hoped. Um, so them being in those sports and them having that success in those sports, hopefully that they can keep that same mentality and move it on with basketball. And those coaches, they've obviously done a great job establishing the culture they want. Where we're working hard every day in practice and we're making it translate into the games. So just continuing that with basketball is really what we're looking to see right now.
Coach, I'm just curious where you found yourself in this position, how you found yourself in this position. What was your journey like to get to head coach of the Lakeview Bulldogs?
Yeah, so I graduated from Poland in 2016, played under Coach Grisdale. And then right after I graduated high school, he offered me the 8th grade position at Poland. So I did that for 4 seasons, loved every minute of it, had 4 great groups of kids. And then I got hired to teach at Lakeview after I graduated to college. And then I got offered the JV position here. So I've been doing that the last 2 seasons. And then Mark Novotny, who was our head coach, became the AD this past summer. So I stepped up into the varsity role this year. So really looking forward to it.
All you had to say was coached by Ken Grisdale, and then I'm on board. Like, let's
That's
go.
right.
That's a legend right there, Coach. Let's talk about your roster. I know you have, like you said, a couple of people hurt, but nothing serious, so it shouldn't affect the roster or what you're going to put on the floor this year. Talk about the guys that you're going to have and the guys you're definitely going to be leaning on this year on the court.
Yeah, we have 4 returning starters from the end of last season. So our 2 biggest returners are Kyle Sankowitz and Ryan G. Those are our 2 senior captains. They were basically voted unanimous captains this season. So we're going to be relying on them a ton to be leaders on the court, being vocal leaders, leading by example. And then we also have back our point guard, Isaiah Lance. He'll be a sophomore for us this season. Really looking for him to lead us on the floor, get everybody in the right positions, making sure he's communicating. And then we have Carter Duran back this year. He's going to be our starting 5-man. He's a junior. He made a ton of progress last season. He went from not even scoring in JV games to eventually starting varsity for us last year. So we're really looking for big things from him too this year. And then we got a lot of guys back from last year too that are looking to just add to their roles from last year and just continue to see increased minutes.
I feel like this season, especially, there's going to be a lot of parity amongst the NE8 conference. I'm excited to see what NE8 play looks like. What do you expect to see from conference play? You've played in this conference, these type of teams. What is that? What does it look like for you?
Yeah, I mean the conference is always competitive. Doesn't matter how many guys you have back, how many guys you've lost from the prior season. It's always going to be competitive. Every Tuesday night, every Friday night, you're always in for a battle. I know from playing in it that there's no gimmies on the schedule. I know from coaching in it that there's no gimmies. So every coach, every program does a great job. Um, so I really think it's going to be competitive this year. Obviously, everybody's been talking about Poland and South Range, as kind of the top two in the conference, so to speak. But I really think with the 7 teams we have, anybody can win on any given night. So
You also have plenty of opportunities to step outside of the conference and test yourself. Who are some teams outside of the NE8 that you're excited to go up against this year?
yeah, we start off with Liberty as our season opener, and we lost to them last season, so we're looking for a little revenge this year. And then a couple other non-conference ones, just off the top of my head. Howland's always a big one for us. That's always nice getting a Division I game in our schedule, and we're obviously close to Howland, so that's always a big one for us. And then over Christmas week, we have 3 non-conference games. We go Maplewood, Newton Falls, and Champion, and that's 3 games in basically a 5-day stretch for us. So that's going to be really big for us as well. And then we picked up a couple other non-conferences that we normally don't get at the end of the season, since we lost Jefferson in the NE8. Where you have Berkshire and we have West Geauga to close out the season. So we're really looking forward to those as well.
Like you said, first year you're stepping into the reins of the head coaching role. You're the skipper this season. What is the Matt Baker brand of basketball Lakeview fans can expect to see from this Bulldog squad?
Yeah, I'm really trying to just establish an environment in practice where we are actually excited to be there. I feel like the last couple seasons we've had guys walking into practice that just really aren't really looking forward to practice. So trying to establish that environment where we're actually excited and we're looking to compete in practice and, give each other battles. And then just all the little things. We were 3-20 last season, and I feel like we could have been basically 500 if we did the little things out on the court. Diving for loose balls, checking out a man and going and get a rebound, keeping a guy in front of you on defense, remembering a play and being able to execute it and be in the right spot. So really that's been the focus these first couple weeks in practice, has been let's hone in on the little things. And then as we establish those habits, hopefully they're able to translate into the games this season.
Another important thing as a first-year head coach is building that staff. I'm sure you put a lot of thought into who you wanted to bring in as assistants and who you wanted to help you achieve what you wanted to this year. Who's on your staff? Highlight them too.
Yeah, my lead varsity assistant this year is Frank Newton. He was with us last year as well, and he does a great job of pushing the kids and being able to communicate with them in the right way. He's been on our staff before here at Lakeview. He has plenty of experience in that regard. And then my JV coach this year is going to be Chris Romano, who's a Lakeview graduate, which is really what I was looking for. I was looking for Lakeview graduates. So he's going to be my JV coach. He's on the football staff as well. So that's always nice to have a coach, that the kids are familiar with from another sport. And then my freshman coach this year is Nate Fox, which some people might remember from a couple years ago. He was our leading scorer 2 years ago. He was our best player, our most unselfish player, our hardest worker. So he's going to be stepping into the freshman role, and I know he's really excited for that challenge too.
Love former players coming back to the program, Coach. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always great to see. I feel like that's they're invested in the program. When you have guys that have been here that know what it's like, and they want to see it be as successful as possible.
We talked all about the team a little bit. We talked about some of the guys that are going to be impacts. What would you say? And I mean, obviously, by the end of this season, this answer might totally change, right? Because over the course of a season, it's a lot of things change. But what would you say the strengths are of this team in the way too early kind of preseason look?
Well, like I said, I mean, having 4 starters back from the end of last season is huge, just because those guys have that varsity experience. So, the guys that haven't had that experience, leaning on those 4 guys to lead us in practice is going to be huge. But strengths wise, I feel like we're pretty big this year. We have a lot of size. We have a lot of guys that are 6'3", 6'4". So trying to find different ways, offensively and defensively, to utilize that size to our advantage, I think is going to be the key, at least here early on. Like you said, towards the end of the season, that might totally change. But right now, that's been our focus.
Coach, one of the things that we're asking all of our coaches this year is kind of the theme of our season previews is the love of the sport of basketball. We love it because we broadcast it. Your players love it because they're putting the time into it. Obviously, you love it because you're out there coaching them. When did your love of the game start? When can you kind of trace back your journey with basketball starting?
Yeah, that probably started maybe 3rd, 4th grade. I remember my dad coaching my teams, and we would be heading down to the downtown Y in Youngstown and playing on Saturday and Sunday mornings. So that's kind of the first memories I have. And then building off of that, my brother is 6 years older than me, and when he was on those 2007, 2008 Poland teams that made those state runs, and I was a ball boy during those seasons, so that obviously added to the love of the game as well. And then as I got into middle school, high school, I remember just going out and shoveling the driveway and getting those winter gloves on and going out and shooting in 20-degree weather, and just it hasn't stopped ever since day one. It's been a joy, and I really don't know what else I would be doing other than coaching basketball. So
20-degree basketball, that's a different level of love right there. That's
Yep, going out there shooting. I would be shooting 100 free throws a night, trying to get at least 90 out of 100. You got to be a little psycho to love the game that much. So.
Shooting till the ball sticks to the rim for being
That's
too
right.
cold.
Coach, we love your passion for the game. We're definitely rooting for you and this whole Lakeview program. We can't wait to see some games on the network. I know we got a crew that is amped up, and they're going to be covering both sides of Lakeview basketball this year. So you guys are going to be covered from the YSN perspective. So we look forward to it this year, Coach.
Yeah. I appreciate everything you guys do for us.
Yeah, we appreciate having you guys a part of the network and a part of the YSN family. This has been a first edition of Coach's Corner with the head ball coach over there at the boys basketball level, Mr. Matt Baker.